Alright, welcome to the channel. This is going to be a technical analysis of the Microsoft chart. Just a quick explanation before I jump into it as to who this is for and what this analysis is and is not. As the title suggests, that this analysis is for dividend investors, dividend growth investors. It is not for day traders or people who are looking to buy and sell Microsoft stock. This video is for people who have already determined that they do want to buy Microsoft. So it's for people who already know that this is a company that you want to buy. This is not analysis that's going to determine whether or not Microsoft is a good company to buy. So it's basically going to look at some potential price levels where it may make sense to look to get into the stock. We're going to look at the long-term price movements on the chart. I don't use a lot of indicators or moving averages in this analysis. You'll see it's a relatively straightforward technical analysis, and it's not a very high production value, but it is going to be just a simple explanation of some areas where price may pull back to in order to be able to get into the stock, to get into the company, to buy into it. So without wasting any more time, we're going to start off on the quarterly chart. So this is a 3-month chart of Microsoft. I'm going to highlight some areas of interest and give my analysis, and hopefully this will help to determine for you some areas that you can jump in. So all right, so first we're going to look at, like I said, here the quarterly chart. We've got this candle right here is the quarter of COVID. So we had a large doji candle here. I'll probably use, if you're not into technical analysis, if you're not a day trader, some of these terms I use may not be familiar to you, but this was a candle with a lot of volatility that closed basically at the same spot that it opened. And then we had a bullish move away. And then we had this inside candle here, this inside bar. And basically an inside bar is one where the high and low of this candle remain within the range of the previous quarter's price action. So we had a high of this candle, a low of this candle, and this next candle stays within that range of the previous candle. So that's what's called an inside bar, and that indicates that it was a consolidation area. So price broke out after COVID, and then it spent 3 months consolidating before it broke out again. And so this consolidation, this quarterly consolidation, is an important area. As you can see, after price broke out, it did spend a year pulling back into this consolidation area before heading higher. Okay, so we have this long bullish price leg here, it leaves us where we are here, which is obviously at the very high end of this range. And so we're going to break down, we'll go to the weekly chart and find some. We'll look at the monthly chart first. Again, not super high production value here, but we will mark up some areas of interest. Okay, so here that wasn't quite right. Here we have yes, it is a monthly imbalance. Okay, I'm looking at areas that are closest to the area of price. Go ahead and put all these on the chart. Well, yeah, and this is going to, I know it looks really busy, but I'm going to explain all of this here. Again, we're looking at the same price leg here, the same bullish price leg. We just dropped down from the quarterly chart to the monthly chart, and then here I have annotated some particularly relevant price levels. This was the high of 2021. I have marked it all the way across the chart. So you got the 2021 high, you have the high of 2022. I didn't mark the lows down here. And then you have quarter two high for 2022. We'll drop down to the weekly chart and we'll get a little bit more specific with our analysis. Before we get into the current price action, we are going to look at this bullish move that happened in 2023. So as you can see, price reached this high point before the Fed announced that it was going to begin raising rates, and price pulled back and tapped into this quarterly consolidation range before heading higher. This was a very impulsive move to the top side with a lot of imbalance here. These full body candles where the wick of the next candle and the wick of the previous candle never meet. This indicates a lot of price momentum in this candle here, a lot of price momentum here, a lot of price momentum here. And so with this move up, we broke both the high of 2022 and of 2021 all the way up here at the top side. Then we pulled back into this high of the second quarter of 2022 before continuing to the upside. This is what would be considered for technical analysts a bear trap. So price wicked above this all-time high, and then it broke lower right here. And as you can see, when it did break lower, there was a good bit of momentum here. We did have, as I'll zoom in a little bit, we had this imbalance right here. I will mark this up. There's a small amount of imbalance in this candle, which is an indication of bearish momentum. And so price broke this candle's low here. It broke this candle's low, tapped this high of quarter two, and then broke back to the top side into this imbalance, okay, and then broke lower again, breaking this low. That's not where I want to go. That's where I want to be. Broke this low. And so what this did was this was a bearish signal for traders, for day traders, for swing traders, weekly chart. So this was really more of a swing trade bearish setup with the break lower, the pullback, and then the second break lower. And so in this area of price, as price made this bullish push, you had a lot of traders who were taking bearish positions in here, expecting price to once again head to the downside. And that's called a bear trap. It gave a definite sell signal and then blew through this price level, this high, with a lot of momentum. All right, blew through a lot of momentum, left a lot of imbalance here with these two candles. And then once it broke through, it came back, retested this, what would be considered the support level of this previous all-time high, before once again pulling to the top side. This candle here marks the high of quarter three of 2023. And it also happens to be also the low of quarter four of 2024. And so that's kind of brings us to where we are now. This candle here is what's called a demand zone. There's a lot of buyers in this area coming off of this quarterly high to push price higher. It never really gave a pullback for an entry for anybody looking to get long. It consolidated here for 2 months before once again heading higher, consolidated for about a month and a half, and now we had this bullish push, and when we've had a couple of inside bars here over the last couple of weeks, some indecision on what price is going to do. And so what we're trying to do is, for people who have already made the determination that Microsoft is a dividend stock that you want to be involved in, is to figure out where is a good place to look for an entry. Where's a good place to start a position? Now, those of you that watch a lot of dividend content on YouTube, you'll know that one rule of thumb is that there's never a bad time to start a position. Okay, so if you know that you want to be a buyer of Microsoft for the long term, for the next 20 years, for the next 30 years, it's good to go ahead and get a position started. But as we look at this, excuse me, as we look at this price leg, we can start looking for areas where price may pull back to before heading higher. Now, of course, price could pull back, bump a little higher, and then pull back again, bump higher. And if we have a bear market, we could take out this low here. Of course, we don't know what price is going to do. This is just an analysis. But again, this is not an analysis that's meant to determine whether you want to be a buyer of Microsoft. This is analysis for people who have already decided, I do want to be a buyer of Microsoft. And the lower it goes, the more excited I'll be because I can get in at a lower price. So this is for people who, even if price breaks back down into this price leg to mitigate some of this imbalance, some of this momentum, that you'll still be looking to be a buyer down here, because there's always the possibility that price could break down here. But this move right here, it kind of sets a secondary level where you had this price leg, a very complex pullback before the push higher. So we're going to look at this as one leg, and then this as a second leg. Okay, and so what we're going to do is look at areas of interest in this leg where price could possibly pull back to. And so what I've done here is I have, of course, marked out this monthly imbalance, and I will I'll once again pull this up and bring back the monthly imbalance by itself, just to kind of explain what that is. We had a massive bullish push here, and we haven't yet traded back down into this imbalance. Okay, so there's a lot of liquidity here. There's price will would like to be pulled back into this area, and so when we go back to the weekly chart, we'll see a few things. Okay, number one, we'll see that when price broke above this previous all-time high, and then it retested this area, did not get a close below, and then it broke higher. And so not only do we have this very well-defined area where a lot of buyers, that's why it's called a weekly demand zone, because this is the price level where there was a ton of buyers in this area. It had to be a ton of buyers because we broke this level and this level with a lot of momentum. So a lot of buyers entered this position down here. We consolidated, and I'll repeat myself a little bit, and then we had a lot of momentum here. So there was a lot of buying activity at this price level as well. So this is kind of our secondary base of this leg. So we have this huge leg here with two important areas of demand where there's a lot of demand for this stock. Imbalance created here, imbalance created here. Here we have these two lows of this month, of this week and this week. created relative equal lows, which have a lot of orders resting below them. A lot of buyers who entered positions in this consolidation area have set their stops, whether mental stops or actual stop orders, below this level inside this imbalance. So not only do we have an imbalance here, we also have these relative equal lows, and then we have another quarterly high here. So in my opinion, this would be a good area to expect price to come back to look to add more to your Microsoft positions. If price comes, takes out these relative equal lows, possibly taps this Q4 2023 high, fills in a lot of this imbalance, possibly even reaches down into this weekly demand zone, that would be a good spot to enter. Right now, price is sitting at $425 a share. This relative equal low area is sitting at approximately $397, so say $400 a share. So this area between $365 and $400 a share is an area where price could travel back into. That would be a good position to buy. Again, we do have this demand zone down here, where if we do have a bear market, a prolonged bear market, or a correction, you could possibly see price pull back into here. This is at $320 a share, so I mean that would be a 25% pullback, which is a massive pullback, which is why I think that this is a more likely area for price to return to. I'm interested in Microsoft personally, and so I think these would be good areas to look at to get a position. Now, I'm not going to really drop down any lower than the weekly, because this is not, again, this video is not for traders who are looking to buy and sell to get in and out of Microsoft for profit. This is for dividend investors looking for areas where you may be able to purchase it on sale. And so I think these are good areas. And so that's the gist of the technical analysis of the Microsoft chart. And what I will be doing over the next few months is I have pulled up a screener in Fidelity, and I have filtered it by dividend yield, dividend growth rate, and market capitalization, and I have sorted it based on highest, biggest market capitalization. That's why I started here with Microsoft. The next stock, the next ticker I plan on analyzing is going to be Apple. But if there is another stock that you're interested in looking at the chart analysis for, please feel free to leave a comment, and I'd be more than happy to look at the quarterly, the monthly, and the weekly charts to see if price is in a spot where maybe you could, because I know there's several stocks, like McDonald's, that looks like it's in a good spot right now. I'm not going to do that chart today. Excuse me. But once again, this price is very extended. Now look, and here's another thing. Depending on what the Federal Reserve does and what the markets do, we could consolidate here for several weeks and then push higher again. Now, if that happens, then we will revisit this chart and look for areas within this consolidation where price could possibly pull back to before heading higher. But once again, these relative equal lows, the monthly imbalance, the previous quarter high, followed by this weekly demand that created this bullish momentous push, is an area of interest where I'll be looking to get a position started on Microsoft when it pulls back, that you may be considering. It may be considered on sale in this area. So this is my first video dealing with the technical chart of these dividend stocks. I myself am a day trader. I trade the futures. I trade The Dow futures, if you're a futures trader, that would be YM. If you are a CFD trader, maybe if you're not in the United States, that would be US 30. So I don't day trade individual stocks, but I'm also a dividend growth investor. And so that's what got me interested in doing this. I've been all over YouTube watching video content on dividends, and I have yet to see a channel that focuses on a technical analysis of these charts of these dividend stocks. Everything's focused on fundamental analysis, and so there's a lot of content out there for that. That I enjoy, and so I didn't feel there was much need to add to that content. So just trying to do something a little bit different for those that may be interested in looking at these stocks from a different perspective. So again, if you find any value in this, please like and subscribe. Please drop a comment with any suggestions on some large or mid-cap stocks that you're interested in, that you think others may be interested in as well. And I will see you next time for the next chart breakdown.